What is poppin', YouTube? Back again with another video. Today we are doing a little bit different of a video. It's going to be a little bit different in structure, where I hope you can hear me rant a little bit and just talk about these two players and where they're going to land in regards to Dalvin Cook and Deandre Hopkins. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Best free way to support me talking fantasy football content and dynasty fantasy football content. Let's go. So the first player we're going to be talking about today is Dalvin Cook. Now we know Dalvin Cook gets dropped by the Minnesota Vikings because of his contract, and currently he's out there on the open market. Now a lot of us have been saying there's great teams for Dalvin Cook to go to, like the Miami Dolphins would be a great place to go. But he has said he's not just taking a cheap deal. He's not going to go ring chasing by signing with the Kansas City Chiefs or even going to the Buffalo Bills and signing to play with his brother, James Cook. As much as I think that is a great spot for Dalvin Cook, he is not going to do that. So he's waiting on a team to pay him. So I think for me, coming and thinking through that lens, there's a few different teams that come to mind that could potentially need a running back that Dalvin Cook is going to be able to sign to and get the money that he deserves. The first team we're going to be talking about is the Denver Broncos. Now, I know there's been reports, a lot of people were saying, oh, the Denver Broncos are going to be in on Dalvin Cook. And they weren't, because there is reports that Javonte Williams is a lot healthier than expected. I think for the Denver Broncos to get where they want to be, they need to have an elite level running back. And we've seen, of course, last season, we saw Latavius Murray. They were getting a bunch of run to these super old free agents. And Dalvin Cook stepping in, even if Javonte Williams isn't 100% healthy, being able to have a two-headed monster between Dalvin Cook and Javonte Williams. Now, I don't love that for fantasy football purposes, but I definitely could see that for real NFL purposes, and giving Dalvin Cook that $5 to $7 million that he's probably going to end up getting. I think that'd be a great deal. Letting Russ cook, handing the ball off to Dalvin Cook, Javonte Williams in the backfield seems like a good spot. So that's probably my number one spot that I'm viewing outside of the lens of a Kansas City or Buffalo Bills. Another realistic spot we have mentioned already is the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins in the backfield, he would instantly take over the Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson carries. I do think Devon Achane would still get a ton of run in the Miami Dolphins backfield. A lot of us in Dynasty and in fantasy football had unrealistic expectations, thinking somehow Devon Achane was going to get 8 to 12 touches when it's more realistically along the lines of 6 to 8 touches a game. Now, we do know how great Mike McDaniel is, so a second year in the system. I mean, even Tyreek Hill said he didn't necessarily know all the plays, so just adding a weapon like Dalvin Cook would be something that would be super beneficial for the Miami Dolphins. My third spot that I think not a lot of people are talking about, and I think this is kind of flying under the radar in my personal opinion, is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, all of us, I just made a video a few days ago talking about my love of Tony Pollard and how Tony Pollard finishing last year as a top 8 running back in fantasy football without Zeke Elliott. All of a sudden, Tony Pollard, if he gets somewhere between 65 to 70% of the touches, we could be talking about Tony Pollard as a top 5 fantasy running back and then also helping you in your dynasty leagues. As we've seen before, Mike McCarthy loves the running back by committee. So if he can get his hands on Dalvin Cook, a way cheaper and honestly kind of better running back to Zeke at this point in his career, I could see the Dallas Cowboys doing that as well. So those are my top 3 teams that I'm currently viewing for Dalvin Cook. Let me know down below, who is the team that you would like to see Dalvin Cook go to realistically that has cap room that you could potentially see them sign. Now, to get to DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of us as well were saying, DeAndre Hopkins, he's on the market. Who needs a wide receiver too? The Buffalo Bills next to Stephon Diggs. Look at Kansas City. They only have Travis Kelce. And yes, we love Kadarius Toney. Yes, we think there's potentially a little bit of upside with Sky Moore. But imagine if DeAndre Hopkins was getting the ball thrown to him by Patty Mahomes. Wouldn't that be so good? And as we've seen, DeAndre Hopkins talks of Houston, Texas, Tennessee Titans. He's visiting the New England Patriots. Now, I personally believe if we're making a top 5 list of where I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go, I think number 1 is probably going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Number 3, I think the Houston Texans are going to be there in number 3. Number 4, Tennessee Titans. And we can say number 5, New England Patriots. So I do think he will end up with the Kansas City Chiefs. But just imagine, like we said, somehow he goes to New England. I just don't understand why he'd want Mac Jones throwing him the ball. I just don't think that would be a good decision for him personally, because as he said, he does not want to be washed. There's a few tweets on Twitter that he commented on saying, I'm not washed. Like people, there was a one guy who made like a funny, like kind of snarky comment saying, proving that DeAndre Hopkins is not washed, but I think DeAndre Hopkins didn't necessarily read into it enough, but he retweeted it. So I could see him going to the Houston Texans, being the wide receiver 1 for CJ Stroud. Don't think that's a good idea for his career and or his pursuit of a title. Tennessee Titans, like why you're going to go alongside Treylon Burks, have Ryan Tannehill throw you the ball. New England Patriots, no. So I honestly do think it's going to come down to the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of people are saying the Kansas City Chiefs with Josh Allen. There's a part of me that just thinks that once you get into a room and you have Patty Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid all recruiting you, that I know it's probably going to be a little bit less. The Kansas City Chiefs offer will be a little bit less than the Buffalo Bills offer for DeAndre Hopkins. I just can't imagine that he takes an offer to go play in, I mean, they're both cold environments, but I just can't imagine that he's going to be willing himself to play in the snow after he's gone from playing in Houston and Arizona and deciding to do that in January. Now, you still have to play in the snow in Kansas City, but it's just a little bit warmer of a climate to me where they're playing out west a lot in the division. So for me, the target for DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. So let me know down below, where would you like DeAndre Hopkins to end up? Where would you like Dalvin Cook to end up? I know this was a little bit more of an opinionated video, but appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow, talking a little bit more about my running back rankings. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.